Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking over the Sound BlasterX H5 gaming headset. So like I was saying, today we're going to look over the H5, one of Sound Blaster's offerings when it comes to their gaming headset lineup. They also have the H7. I think they have a few other options or some kind of special editions. But their H5 is kind of their entry-level one if you're looking for a closed-ear gaming headset. The first thing we're going to do today is look over the design and its features. And I will say right off the bat, if you just look at the headset, it is pretty... I don't know exactly what the right word would be, but I wouldn't call it boring, but I wouldn't also call it flashy. And to me, that's actually a good thing because I don't think gaming headsets need to have tons of lights and LEDs and all types of crazy customization when it comes to like all that stuff. I mean, if you're looking for that, there's some options out there, but I don't think that's the first thing you should look for in a gaming headset. You should look for comfort and you should look for usability. The design of these, I actually think they look really good. I do like this brushed aluminum. I think it looks really good. It kind of pops. The ear cups themselves, the outside parts that protect the speakers, I think it looks pretty solid. Nothing crazy. You do have the Sound Blaster logo on there with a little bit of design. It also kind of has a brushed look too. The rest of it just looks solid when it comes to construction. They also feel very solid, and you can actually kind of twist them and stuff. They're pretty sturdy, which is good. You're not going to snap them easily, which is something that some people, is a good thing. Sometimes you step on a headset or you drop it or who knows what you might have happen. So that's one thing I do like too. So they seem durable. Besides that, the design, I do like them. Like I said, it's a little more plain, but I think that works here really well. It's got the one, not the dual, we've seen all types of headbands these days, all different. This is a single strap at the top with a soft leather around it. You also have soft leather on the ear cups, which kind of actually feel like they have somewhat of a memory foam on them too. I will get to comfort in a second, but they feel nice overall to the touch, and the holes are definitely big enough and deep enough for just about anybody's ears. Some headsets, they're not deep enough. They'll put this on, but then the speaker will be almost up as high, and that's a bad thing. So these luckily have the space, which is good. You want that space. Helps trap all that sound in there too. So overall, I think the design is good. I like them. They look pretty solid to me. Like I said, nothing crazy or flashy, but I don't think they need to be, honestly. They look pretty solid, and the construction seems pretty good. Now, the next thing that I do want to cover is that comfort. Now, long periods of time wearing these, they work really, really well. They are very lightweight. They're not the lightest headphone, but overall, their construction feels pretty light and but still solid, which is good because obviously with lightness, things can get cheaper and they could break. But this doesn't feel that way. They are lightweight. They sit on your head and they feel fine when you're wearing them over a long period of time. They also, because of that soft leather on the ear pads, they're comfortable like against your head, which is nice too. One thing I will say, and this kind of goes for everything made with this leather when it comes to headsets, is over a long period of time, they do start to feel like they get a bit warm against your head, around your ear. I think this is just because the leather doesn't breathe really, and that's what you're going to find with every headset that's leather. Cloth is the alternative, essentially, but cloth can let some of the sound escape. And sometimes sometimes they're not as high quality as they could be. Some headsets do a good job with that, some don't. But overall, it gets a little bit warm over a long period of time. Not really that big of an issue in my opinion. I mean, it's not like it's making me sweat, but it's just something to remember when looking at any headset that has a leather pad for the ears. So that's this one little takeaway. Other than that, though, very comfortable. You can wear them for a very long time. I was streaming with these multiple times and for 3+ hours and longer, and they didn't bother me at all. They're very, very comfortable to wear for a long time. So that's one thing I did really, really like. The next thing I want to talk about besides that comfort is the features of the headset. So obviously left ear, right ear, because we have 2 ears. I know, groundbreaking and revolutionary. One thing I do like, they are closed ear, meaning that they are going to trap all the sound inside of them. They don't technically noise cancel, but if you have the volume anywhere around 40% or higher, the outside noises are going to be non-existent. It's not a problem. You're basically going to be in your own little world, which is kind of nice. So they will knock out a lot of that sound. Like I said, not technically noise canceling, but they do a really good job of trapping all of the sound inside the ear cup. One thing I did actually as just a fun test, just to see, and it's a good way to test it if you don't have anyone that can wear them for you, is turn the volume up to like about a medium style level and hold your headphones like this open. You'll hear the sound coming out. Then put the ear pads together and make it tight, or not push or anything, but just make sure they're tight together, and no sound was escaping, and all the sound I was hearing, I couldn't hear it either. So they're going to hold the sound in there really well, and nothing's really getting out and past it. So all your sound's going into your ear, you're hearing it, no one else is really hearing it, and it's blocking out all that other sound trying to come in. So that was very good too. It's just like a little mini test. It's not like it's a super official test, but it's a test nonetheless that just gives you a little bit of a heads up, because, I mean, some headsets you put them together and you can hear sound escaping, whether it's coming through the back or if it's coming out the sides or if the ear pads aren't lined up perfectly. So that's just a little thing to maybe try out with yours if you want to see how well that sound's being trapped and how well it's getting into your brain, because that's where you want it to go. But the other features that we do like, it has about a 2-meter-ish cord on it that you can plug into your PC. It does have an extender. We'll get to that in a second. This cord has a couple interesting features. The first one, I do like the button on it. The button on it is very solid for muting and unmuting. It's got a good click to it. It feels like the construction of it is pretty solid. It also has a volume knob on one side too, and then it has a play. It says play, pause, and phone. So this is like a hang up or answer calls or play and pause your music, because it does have the smart port on the end of it, meaning you can plug it into your phone and use this with your phone. This headset also does work with PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones if you want to plug it into that too. It does say it is compatible. I didn't have a chance to use it with my Xbox, but it will do that as well if you want to use this for multi-purposes. Then the cord itself is also, it's got that like weaved cloth around it, which is going to help keep the cord protected and long lasting, although it still makes it very malleable, or at least the cord still bends quite good, so it's not super stiff or rigid, but it should be protected pretty well, which I do like. That's a really nice feature in my opinion. Now, one thing, like I said, that was interesting about the cord itself is it is fully modular, you could say. It does unplug from the headset itself, so I guess you could replace this easily, although I'm not sure why you'd really need to unplug this cord, because they're not wireless. So the headset like this, I mean, it doesn't really do you anything, I guess, unless you want to wear them to sleep to cancel out noise, but once again, I don't know, that's weird. Anyway, so that's how that works. You may notice there's no headset on this microphone. There is a headset for the microphone though. It comes modular, so you can plug it in if you need it, but you don't have to have it plugged in. I love this feature personally because I don't ever really need a microphone for my headset. I have a standalone microphone I use for my live streams, or when I'm playing with friends, I use it because it's a high quality studio microphone. So I don't need this one. But it's good that you can take it on or off, because even if you're playing a single player game by yourself and you don't need it plugged in, then you don't have to have it plugged in. But it just simply plugs in right by that other cord, and you can have it plugged in pretty easily to the headset. Nothing too crazy there. It still does bend and gets almost anywhere you want it to be. The bending isn't the most super hardcore sturdy, but it does bend wherever you want it, and it does seem to stay there, which is good. So if you put them on, and you get the microphone in your eyeball, which I just did, if you put them on, you can put this wherever you want, and it's gonna stay, which is kind of nice, and it's not gonna go anywhere. So I like that, and even if you just want to move it up out of the way for the time being, it really does move up and it gets out of the way, which is really, really nice. So overall, I like this feature a lot. It does work well. We'll get to the microphone quality in just a second on the headset. We'll go ahead and do a standalone test in a little bit about that. But it just unplugs easily too if you don't want it or need it, and then you're completely fine without it. So I do like that feature a lot. It's pretty convenient. Obviously, these do adjust as well. They pull out, they get fairly tall, or you can bring them in, and they do get fairly small. Oh, that's a baby head right there. So it does have the adjustability that you need and everything that you want there, and it works really, really well. The other cord that comes with it is going to be an extender. It's about the same length as the cord that comes out of the headset, about 2-ish meters on that, and it just plugs straight into it, and then it splits the audio and the microphone on that, so you can plug it in to whatever you want that is going to split that for you, and you get some more range on it too, which is nice, because not all of our PCs are right next to the left ear side of us when we're playing games. So it's nice that we have this available to do that. So that is the cord that comes with it. Those are the features. Now, as for the sound itself that you get from this headset, let's talk about that. I think overall the sound is pretty good. It's not the world's greatest I've heard from a headset, but honestly for the price point, we'll get to that in a second, I think it's really good. The bass comes in pretty good. Sometimes I feel like it's maybe just a tiny bit too much, but it's really not too much. I mean, most people would find it probably pretty adequate. The mid-range is good, and the highs are there, and they're nice. The only thing I will say about the sound for this headset is as you turn the volume up higher and higher, the bass still comes in, and it comes in probably a little bit more than you need it, just a tiny bit. And then the highs also start to feel just a little bit too high, not tingy or anything, but they get a little aggressive. And so what basically happens is with the highs and that low, it starts to mud out the middles just a little bit. So the middle grounds suffer because of it a little bit, but it's not bad. Playing these in-game, they sound great, honestly. And for most gaming headsets, it's not too hard to get good quality sound or good enough quality sound. And these do a good job. Now, one thing I will also say is you do have some choices, though, when you want to change the way that sound works or how it sounds overall. There is some Sound Blaster software that you can go and download and adjust it for what game type you're playing, and even has specific titles. Now, one thing I do like about that is it does give it the headset some more functionality and features, and can kind of tweak the sound a little more closely to how you may want to hear sound, which is a really, really nice feature. The only things I don't like about it is the customization of the sound features within the program aren't super detailed. There's not individual sliders. There's just a bunch of different presets, which are better than nothing, but I'd really like to see sliders. And then one other little thing I definitely did not like was that to download the software, you can't just go download it and start using it. You have to basically register for it with an email. Then they send you a link to download it with an activation code. You download it, open it, and then use your activation code. I mean, it still works and all, it's just not seamless. So a little bit of an annoyance, and some people may not do it, but it is there for you if you want to adjust your sound to FPS or to MOBA or to racing games. So there's lots of little things you can do there with that to tweak the headset, and also just have like settings for individual headsets that they sell. So it can tweak it to its best configuration kind of off the bat. So some nice usability there for sure. But nothing too crazy. The next thing I think we need to do is we need to go over the microphone quality and let you guys hear what that sounds like with a dedicated test. As for the microphone quality on the Sound BlasterX H5, well, you're hearing it right now. I'd say overall it's fine. It's nothing amazing. Obviously, it doesn't sound as good as other headsets, but it doesn't sound at the very least as bad as some headsets. It's kind of right in the middle. At certain points, the voice starts to get picked up a little bit too much. It sounds a little too hot. But overall, I'd say it's going to do the job just fine. And in the price point that this headset falls in, this is completely adequate and will work just fine for what you're getting for the price. There you have it. That's the microphone test. Overall, I'd say, kind of middle ground. There's definitely better, but for the price point of this, I think it's pretty good. The price of this right now, if you were to go out and look for one of these, you can get it from Sound Blaster right now for just under $100 at $99. Which I think honestly puts it into a pretty competitive space when it comes to a gaming headset. There's a lot of other choices in that range around $100. But overall, I think this one is a pretty good front runner, honestly. It's very, very comfortable, and it does have good quality sound. The microphone, I don't think that's really going to offend too many people. You're just going to use it to talk to your friends. It's going to be fine. I wouldn't obviously record with it studio quality recordings and try to do voiceover with it or anything, but it's not meant for that either. So it is good enough for what it is, and I think everything else is very clever with the packaging, the way it disconnects, and the way it just kind of all works and goes together. Overall, I think it's a pretty good headset. So if you're looking for something in that range, something you should definitely consider. I like it overall, and I think, like for me at least, also design and looks. Not the world's biggest thing, but when I'm streaming, I don't like my headsets to look crazy, and this one looks pretty plain, but still very nice. So I do like that, feels solid. But that's going to be it from me, guys. Let me know what you think about the headset if you're looking for one. Let me know if you have any other questions as well. Leave them down below, and I'll see all of you in the next video.